Hello and welcome to another Developer Diary walkthrough, talkthrough thingamabob for the 2.0 Marius patch for Imperator. So, what have we got going on today? Well, we're going to be having a look a bit more on the UI, who made it, who's designed it, and the kind of thoughts and process that went into deciding what goes where and such. So I'm going to go through the developer diary. We are going to explore exactly what it is they've done, what I think they have done well, what I think they have not done well, what I think could be improved, because there are a couple of things that I do think could be improved. Just some questions I have, etc, etc. Just a bunch of stuff that let's just talk about. Let's get into it. So, good day, I am Jororo, the UX designer on Imperator. I've been in the Stockholm team since November 2019. Nice to finally meet you officially. Yeah, you could have... One message, this is your first post. You've been here since November, you could have talked to us. It'd be cool if you'd talked to us, but yeah, it's whatever, it's cool. It's fine, not everyone's a foreman person. So, what is UX, user experience? The developers, the system is very intuitive, the user will know what to do. That's rude. Anyway, sometimes user experience and user interface get mixed up. The UX designers at Paradox are focused on grouping and presenting information, taking the player's perspective into account. We want to make approachable games, design experiences with a flow that feels intuitive and natural, and sometimes we get it wrong. So always, thanks for the feedback. Well, I would consider this to be feedback, so you're welcome. Our concepts introduced properly is informational, achievable. What is the player's expectation in this system, this game? Our colors, icons, or words used in a consistent way throughout all corners of the game. We analyze, then we put things into their designated place in the UI, using the gorgeous bits and pieces our UI artists created. So sure, I do UI. However, I don't create the color schemes, ornaments, or textures on the UI. I design the experience the player will have in the UI. That's fair. Decent description of your job. That's fine. So, it's finally happening. The UI rework has been my main focus since I started working on Imperator. Me and my little Stockholm-based strike team have been working away from the shadows for a while now. We wanted to take our time to truly figure out our new direction and identify some pain points that needed attention. To summarize, my experience mission is declutter and reorganize the UI for the whole game without reducing the amount of information you can access. If we removed parts of the core game, it wouldn't be Imperator Rome anymore. Sounds like a fun challenge. There's parts of the information that I do actually feel that need to be removed, and we're going to get onto that because, well, good shit. Yeah, we'll get into that later. So, some high priority points for more art. I agree. More art is always a good idea. Let art take up more space to enhance the feeling of immersion, without letting the gameplay or functionality suffer. Visual consistency. Introduce a visual language that makes a distinction between what's clickable and what's not. Tabs and headers to group information. And now that 2.0 is announced, I can finally get into some details with you all. Small disclaimer is, of course, that this is under development as we speak, which means for me, if there are suggestions that need to be put forth, then now is the right time to do it, because it's still under development. It's better do it now, and give the good ideas now rather than give the good ideas later on when maybe it's a little too late. The final result may look slightly different from the screenshots. Let's start with probably the busiest window of the game, Province and Territory UI. And yeah, this is what we have right now in the game. And it is pretty busy. I think some people have gotten used to it. I think that there are worse examples. Later on in the game, for example, if you've played a bit longer, then you'll have, 27 extra import routes and a bunch of different trade goods, and this part of the UI gets to be an absolute mess. Maybe you've gone to war with a lot of people and you've taken a lot of slaves, and then your culture and religion pie charts here are complete messes and utterly unusable, unworkable, complete trash. You have no idea what's going on. So yeah, there's definitely, this part here is awkward, very much so. So, What I did was to first analyze what we have here. What does everything mean? What belongs to what? I usually create a flat, uncolored vector lines, low fidelity, to avoid getting distracted by styling at this stage. After identifying some problems that I wanted to solve, it's drag and drop time, grouping the pieces to add some structure. I ended up with a wireframe like this. Now this is what we are looking to achieve. So we got our trade up in the top right, we got our province investments here, food and loyalty bars are right next to each other. You got an income, the space for the monarch, or the governor, the governor policy, culture, religion, pop breakdown. Again, I'm not a fan of pie charts. I think pie charts need to die in a fire, so I'm not going to be happy to see them back. And then down in the bottom, we've got, split up into the populations, the buildings, and I think they call it strategic. But yeah, this is the wireframe of what they've got. And to move on to what, the final product, I guess the in-development product is looking like, is this. And now it's a bit different from the wireframes, put it that way. But it does look, just for looks, not looking at the information at this point, it looks better. It does look much better than what we currently have in the game right now, which is this. I feel like that's a big improvement. The use of color is nice. The use of these little, arty pieces and stuff is nice. I like it. There are a few critiques that I would have. First and foremost is these pie charts are still absolutely useless and should die in a fire. I just don't like them. I just don't like them. Like, what is this representing? Firstly, how many pops are there? How many pops are there that this is representing? It looks like around about, 90% are of the brown culture. That sounds so wrong to say out loud. I should have thought that through first. Whatever, it doesn't matter. They're of this culture here, the terracotta culture, right? How many people is that? No idea. Again, if you're wanting to work on the cultures with maybe your governor policies, which you can change right here, maybe a percentage might be nice to say, oh, there's this many percent is of your primary culture somewhere on here to give you the total population of the entire province. I know we can see the settlement of Edu here in Babylonia has got 8 pops, and that's one single territory. Where is the grand, the province of Babylonia? How many pops are in here? I would like to see, maybe on this top bar even, population bleh. That would be really nice to see. Get rid of these pie charts because they're trash. What I would like to see mostly is percentage of the population that is of your primary culture, because that's kind of useful information to know. If this is at like 70%, then I might want to change this to, encourage the cultural growth of my own culture and, teach them the one true language and all that kind of crap. Same for religion. What's the percentage of people that follow my religion? If it's not high enough, maybe I'll want to switch to a religious focused provincial government edict thing and, boost that. But right now, this is kind of useless. Honestly, it just is. Especially, and this is the biggest point, because these colors are based on culture group. It's not based on culture. So what we actually have is, maybe this terracotta area is like 5 different cultures. Right? It's not very good. And now I want to bring you over to have a look at the current version of the game, but using the wonderful mod made by Agamede, long game short, his better UI mod. And we're going to have a look at this same province. Let's actually choose the same thing here. Edu. Right? So in Edu, we've got 0% of our own cultural unity, right? That's really useful information to have. Same with religious unity. We can see the province population. All of these numbers are more important than these pie charts and the breakdown of them. Like, this is not information passed along very well, in my personal opinion. If we go to maybe, Seleucia Megale instead, so we've got, pop culture, Macedonian, lovely. There's quite a lot of it there. But again, like, you can sort of tell, obviously, that there's, a large portion of the population is not of your primary, because you'll know from playing that you are Hellenic, and Hellenics are generally in blue. So you'll know that you want to, go on this government policy to boost your culture. But honestly, I kind of would prefer to have this, because sometimes when you get very, very close to, absolute good cultural unity, you don't know how many people, like, you just don't know, and you maybe want to know that it's 100% or if it's 95%, and I don't want to have to hover over this before I know that. Let's take another example in Thrace, because we've got here, it looks like here, in this pie chart, which will be the exact same in the next game, in the next version, where they've still got the pie charts, it looks like we got about 80% cultural unity. Right? There's all this here in blue. It's looking great. We're almost done. Apart from, that's not the case at all. There's only 12%, because only 12% of them are Macedonian. Most of them are Propontic, and Propontic is, it's my culture. It's, and Athenians, they're of my culture group. So we've got 88% that are Hellenistic in my culture group. But I don't care about that. I care about the primary culture. So how many pops is this? So we've got 119 on the Hellenistic group, and then we've got 16 there, so we'll do the math to add them up. Oh, thankfully they're all in the same religious group, so I can just add them here. But what if they weren't? Like, what is the way to check how many pops there are total, other than adding them up or using this mod, which will tell you? There isn't, and there should be, because of course there should be. Some other examples of funky things as well in the new UI. Let's move it back to the new UI. Right here, we've got space for 8. We can probably fit in, 10, maybe 12 before this starts, needing to fold up and cover up things. That's not great. How is it going to be squished along? Like, how much more trade routes are we going to be allowed in this Province of Babylonia screen before we run into the same problem that we have in Imperator, when we have just an absolute ton of trade routes? It doesn't work. It doesn't scale well, and it seems like there's even less space than there is previously. I don't even know, do I have any save games from later on in the game where I've done a bunch? Epirus, let's see if that'll load. Probably have a bunch of trade routes in Epirus, and I'll just show you just how many, how crazy it ends up becoming. In Epirus, we've got only 13. Yeah, that didn't really happen then, did it? Rome, no. Okay, it didn't happen, but you can imagine, especially when the main thrust of the game is to get as many trade routes as possible, because that's just an objectively good thing to do, you're going to run out of space awfully quickly. And especially when in this screen here we've got space for, what's that, on the top there's 9, so 18 different trade goods before you need to squish anything. That's certainly not the case here. I fear this is going to get overworked very, very quickly indeed. I worry for this this screen. I worry for the screen. Going down to the settlement area here, there's a couple of things that are a little bit iffy, but at the same time, not really that big a deal for me personally. Things like when you are wanting to construct a building, for example, you kind of want to know the pop breakdown of the very specific territory, right? So you click on this so you can see the pop breakdown, and then and now I'll go to the buildings, and now I'll click a building to create it. These pops and these buildings, they're inextricably linked together. You can't really put them on different panels. say I want to go clicking around a bunch of different settlements and a bunch of different cities to see what buildings I want to construct, you're going to be flipping back between these panels again and again and again, and it's just not that user friendly, if I'm being honest. I don't know how I would fix that. I really don't. I have no idea. I really don't have any idea how I would fix that, other than a colossal overhaul to the building system, which I think is also something that I would like to see in a future patch. But I don't know how I would fix that. It's just a little bit iffy for me. Other than that, this looks good. And the summary of the income of the specific territory for all of the different things that it's making, that's all working fine. The amount of trade routes you've got in the province, it's okay. It's maybe a little bit big. Is that? I mean, it must be trade routes, right? It must be trade routes. It's not roads. Although I mean, does have only two road possibles, right? It does. But still, the trade routes, yeah. Where are trade routes in here anyway? What do trade routes look like now? Where can you see the amount of trade routes you've got? Maybe you have to look at your own country. Huh, I don't know. Oh, there it is. Trade routes have got this little symbol on it and a road. But where's that gone in the new patch? I guess it didn't need it anymore, because now it's just the road. Interesting. But yeah, other than that, it's fine, it's passable, but there is some information here that I really feel is lacking, and especially this. I don't like these pie charts. I feel like they're honestly a little bit worse than they were in the previous patch. It's more compact, sure, but I'm not looking for compact, I'm looking for information, and this doesn't give me the information I want. So, sorry, this one's not very good, and this is a bit iffy. Ta-da! We decided to have a designated color for buttons in the UI rework. Everything clickable is now teal colored in some way, with the exception of flags. In headers, buttons are white are white since it blends in better than teal. So everything that's teal can be clicked, and then up here these are white, they can be clicked. Okay, fair enough. In Province and Territory UI, we still have Province on top and Territory on bottom. There's two sections getting cleaner separation now with their bold headers. Yeah, this does look like it's separated better. I do like that it's separated better. That's fine. Various things have been cleaned up and aligned, like progress bars. Province income is now combined into one value. You can still find commerce and tax income separately in the tooltip. Trade goods get more space than before too. The terrain image is used in bigger format to bring more focus to that. On the right side we have new illustrations to show the territory status. This one's a settlement image. And of course the tabs, pops, buildings, and tactical. So moving on to the top bar navigation. We scrapped that and moved on to buttons on the side. So yeah, this is what we used to have, which apparently are all of the Greek gods. Right, and now that I'm told that these are the Greek gods, you know what? I can totally see that. I could say that, yeah, no, this is definitely like what Hermes, right? He's running fast. Hercules is doing his challenges for the missions and stuff. Athena, maybe. Not Apollo. It would be Apollo if it was Roman. Mars would be the Roman one, and Apollo would be, and then I don't know. Look, I never knew that they were Greek gods, and I've never really placed them at all. Just apparently they were. Gotcha. Okay, if you say so. Honestly, I went by the colors, right? That's generally what I went. Oh, that's Zeus. That's generally what I went with, is the colors for when I'm, trying to find out which one I want to click. And honestly, I wasn't very good at it. I often swapped these two around, like I think your trade and I think your characters, but I would often click this for character and this for trade. It just wasn't good. It really just was not very good. It didn't work. So now we've got a new reworked thingamabob. Also, they don't want us to see what culture is looking like, so I guess that's changed somewhat. So yeah, now we have all these on the side instead, and you know what? I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. It's maybe a little bit 2D, whereas these are nice and like they look like they're some kind of like sculpture or something. Which I mean, this looks nicer. I don't really like that they are circles. Maybe that could have been changed instead, but you know what, this works just fine, and I really want to yeah, I like this. I want to see how this plays out when actually playing with it. If I'm going to get lost as much as I did in the current patch, who knows. The gods in the old buttons are extremely beautiful, but it was often hard to remember which god represented which UI. We went for a flat icon approach instead. I want players to quickly recognize icons for the UI they want to open. I also changed the order slightly, as it makes sense like this, I think. The opened UI's icon will highlight to tell you where you are. Yeah, I can see that with it turning into a bit yellow. That's fine, that's good. Another UI got a makeup is the nation overview, which again, these look terrible and they don't give you the information that you want, so I would not be a fan of this at all. Really not a fan of this. But everything else is looking fine. I think showing the nation decisions instead of showing provinces is annoying, because this is way more important than this. This will almost never be open. There's also, it seems, no way to deselect a mission to say, I don't want to see this anymore. If I get to a certain tech and then I always have adopt stratocratic monarchy now unlocked, I'm going to have a little notification up here saying, oh, by the way, you got a decision that you can enact. And it'll stay there until you tell it to go away. And that's just really kind of awkward. I just want to say, I never want to see this. Don't show me it. Then we're okay. I will say as well, it looks like there's way more decisions than there were previously. Like, it looks like there's a fairly decent amount of scroll bar here. Unless it's one of those ones where you scroll all the way down and you get like 2 extra. But it seems like there's a lot here, if we're going by anything there. Right, so a bit of critique then. This is all looking fine. You're seeing the information that you want to see. I don't know what this is. What would that be? Is it in the current version? If you look for nation overview. Oh, yeah, it is. Free state investments. Okay. Sure. Free state investments. That's super necessary. Yep, alright. That's just weird. Yeah, so you can see how many free state investments that you have got. I think that's kind of completely useless, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think that if you're wanting to see if you got any free state investments, it would be to click on a province and hover over this and say, oh yeah, I can make this for free. Click. I'm very rarely in this screen, so seeing this here is kind of useless. But yeah, everything's laid out relatively well. Not unhappy with anything there. Antigone Kingdom having this showing already is a bit weird. That's for when they become an empire, you get a 4th, or maybe they've... yeah, I think it's only an empire that gives you a 4th. But yeah, it's interesting that that's there. I would have liked to see the province view, because again, I think there are some things that really need to be in the province view. Let me just open up a new game again so we can so I can show you what it is that I would like to see, because some things that are kind of necessary in my opinion in that province view that I very much doubt will be in the current version. So if we go to the nation overview, oh interesting, this has changed. That's unfortunate. Well, I know for a fact it's on here, so if I go back to the mod, I'll show you what I'm trying to point out. It's there. 1.5 UI. If we scroll along to the province view, that's not it. That's not it. There it is. Alright. So here is the province view. God damn it, there it is. And this is the current version, and I would assume that what the new reworked UI will be is relatively similar, with all the same information just moved around maybe to look nicer. I don't care how many citizens and freemen and tribesmen and slaves and all that garbage. I don't care. That is not useful information to me on this screen. What is useful information is the percentage of primary culture, the percentage of primary religion, because then I can just open this screen here, see, oh, there's only 37% of people following my culture. Let me change the cultural view. If we can sort by these as well, we can sort by who has the least religious unity. Okay, turn that on to, embrace my religion, you bastards, governor policy, and do it from there. These two numbers being percentage in here is way, way more important than anything that this can show me. As well, showing the amount of, trade power and income on here. Much more important than the amount of trade routes, if I'm being perfectly honest. Because if you're showing the amount of trade income, then maybe I want to change this to being the encourage trade thing, something like that. Although, I mean, trade routes there is still pretty useful. But yeah, I just think there could be much more done here when it comes to, what information is shown. Like, having the total amount of pops, great. Having the pop breakdown, it's not useful here. It really isn't. But yeah, let's move on a bit more. For 1.5, I decided to move decisions into the nation overview. Here it is on the new UI for 2.0. Now you select a decision to read more about it and enact with a separate button. Oh, and you'll be able to access nation overview by clicking the big nation flag in the corner. So many of us try to do this all the time, and yes, it has been tracked in usability tests, and I've seen your comments about it, so I added that for the UI rework. That's very cool, that's nice. Clicking this, this should definitely bring you to nation overview, but it doesn't. So it's good that that is being added. The outliner also got some love. It looks like a lot more compact, which is very nice. I like that. It's got a more compact look. It's slimmer. Information is tightly packed within it to avoid too much scrolling, and some added consistency for the button hiding or showing the outliner and queued events. These are now in line as well. And I imagine if they're both closed, they're both actually going to be closed. I don't know if, I don't think this one actually does it. But in the base version, if you had a queued event outliner and you closed it, it wouldn't completely disappear. You'd have a tiny little bit of it on the screen, which is just awkward and wrong. So I'm glad that they're looking into that. Next up is the character UI. So this, I think, looks gorgeous. I really do. I think this is fantastic. There is not much here I would change. There are a couple of things though, but it's not a whole lot. So I love that they've got now the background with him on his throne. I will say that having Cassander, Lysimachus, and Seleucus all having the exact same is incredibly weird, and I don't like that. I think these characters specifically should have their own unique background. Absolutely no one's gonna change my mind on that. They kind of need to have their own background. So that's that. Leaving that aside, this here needs to die. I don't want to know people's health, but we're gonna get onto that because it has my prayers have been answered when it comes to this. This statesmanship is kind of a little bit too much over to the right, and it's hanging off the end of the parchment, which is a little awkward. But hey, it's, I guess, okay, fine. Maybe once this is gone, this can move over, and this can move over a bit, and then it's going to be all nice and the right size and everything. It's going to be fine. So that's fine. What I will say over here, children, wife, parents, yeah, parents, friends, no, friend, this is rivals, but what the fuck is this one? I don't know what this one is. This might be friends. I really don't know. Let's have a look at Mr. Monophthalmus here. Well, there's his rivals. There's his children and his spouse. Does he have friends? It doesn't look like it. 0 friends. Siblings. 0 siblings. So I guess it can't be siblings. Do they look old enough to be his siblings? They look around about the right age to be his siblings. 2 babies next to each other kind of looks kind of right for it. Does Antigonus have siblings? Antigonus siblings. Let's see if we can find any. No idea. Antigonus, monophthalmos, he has brothers. Maybe he does. He had an older brother named Demetrius. He had a younger brother named Ptolemy. There might have been another younger brother, Telesophoros. And he had a half-brother called Marcius. He was married to Stratonike, his older brother's widow. So his older brother died, and then he married her. It's weird, but I guess that's kind of normal. And he had 2 kids, Demetrius and Philippus. Yeah, I think these are his brothers. Okay, it's interesting. They've added new characters to show that, you know, he wasn't familyless. So that's nice, I guess. Yeah, there's not much I can really critique here. I think it's fine, especially like we were getting nested tooltips, which I love. I absolutely adore it. Though I find it a little bit awkward that, I mean, while it's his wife, it's understandable, but for a random character, I don't want to know how much fucking money they have. I don't want to know how loyal they are to the state. I think these 2 numbers should not be known to me. I don't want to know their popularity. That's a little bit more acceptable to know, but I feel like a lot of this information should be hidden. I don't want to see it. Corruption, I don't want to know. I really don't want to know. I think it's more fitting and more realistic if I don't know the bloody corruption levels. This view's gotten some of that art boost I mentioned as one of my goals for the rework. I felt the characters should have a more personal touch to them. In fact, we've added a series of backgrounds for character portraits for this update, and in the detailed character UI, as well as the nested tooltip card, you see the full width of version of that image. The backgrounds provide flavor and contextual information. Apart from terrain images based on character location and government-related backgrounds, we also have specific images behind characters who are dead or imprisoned. Alright. Are these guys dead? Maybe these guys are dead and this is like heaven, clouds in heaven. Although, no, you've got the same one. So I don't know. And your parents, I guess your parents are... Is he dead at the start of the game? I don't think he is. Oh, he's not born at the start of the game. Interesting. That's interesting. Okay. Well, yeah, no, there's not much to complain about here. To be perfectly honest, I think it's fine. So, that is all from the UX designer, Jiroro, this week. Appreciate all your feedback on last week's UI rework reveal, not to mention improvement suggestions here and on other platforms before that. Your comments and suggestions influence my work, and that's a really cool position for me to be in. With UX design, I truly believe there needs to be a back and forth. Thank you. Well, I really do hope that this video is watched and taken for what it's meant to be, which is, you know, I have played an awful lot of this game, and this is what I find to be really useful and necessary when playing the game. And I'm not saying that you haven't played the game, but I'm just giving my perspective on what I find necessary. And I hope it's taken that way. I think what you've done looks much nicer than what we currently have. I think the decision to have, you know, art behind the characters is an inspired one. It looks great, and I'm glad that it's there. I think everything looks good. It's just the specific informations that I want to see and I'm not seeing, and I'm worried about, especially the trade one. I'm worried about how it would look. But yeah, I hope you watched this video. Nice job. Maybe change some of the things that I don't like. That'd be cool. But there isn't everything, so there is a little bit more. Arheo has something to share. As all in usual fashion, we can't leave a dev tray without a small teaser of something new, without telling you what it is, naturally. Therefore, thus, with no further comment, I leave this work in progress window here. A naval battle. I will say, first off, these crossed swords, I don't like this button. It's a bit too big and obnoxious. I'm not a fan. I like these. I like that. That looks cool. I don't know what purpose it serves, but it looks cool. I think this is just a little bit too big. But having said that, move on to the actual battle itself. And the thing I can point to immediately is there are 50 ships in a line here. And we've got a 50 up here. And I think that's kind of important because currently the combat width is 30. And it is unchangeable. It does not change with technology. It does not change with anything. The combat width is 30. There is 50 ships, so the combat width is at least 50, and this number being here means that perhaps you're able to manipulate combat width in some way, or it is manipulated through the passage of time and technology and such. I don't know. What I do know is this is important. I will also point out, why can we not see who's leading the battle? Is kind of... I don't know. I don't know why that is the case. Whether they are literally just trying to hide this is the possibility. Why they would try to hide it, I don't know. If this is actually in-game and the question mark is there in-game, does that mean that neither of these fleets are our own? Maybe we're not playing as the Antagonids here. Maybe we're merely allied to the Antagonids and we don't know who's leading the army. That would be really awesome. I'd be totally down for that. More obscured information, the better, is in my opinion. I think that's a good choice. I don't know. I don't know why this got a question mark here. There's also a box down here which I feel is hiding something intentionally. What would be down here? I have no idea, but it feels like there's something being hidden. And what is this glowing thing? Actually, I can tell you exactly what the glowing thing is. That is... Where are you? Are you even in this at all? You're not. Okay. Well, that's the platypus, the debug platypus that is in all, pre-release kind of things. It's just it's a Roman platypus. But yeah, don't know what this is here. Combat width has changed. Showing the morale here is very inspired, I feel, by a Garmaday's mod, because he has it like this as well in his battle rework. It looks much better that way. It looks like there's also the ability to choose kind of how your fleets engage, because currently you're only able to say, okay, I want these in the middle and then these backing them up and then these guys on the flank. But it's looking like we've got a middle and then a different ship there and then flanked by different ships, and it's looking like you've got a priority order is what I'm seeing. Lightest ships in the middle, heaviest on the flanks, whereas here it's lightest ships and then the heaviest and then going lighter again. It's very, very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what exactly they're doing with the naval rework. Alright, before we go, let me go and find some comments that I can go over, because there are a couple that are, I believe, quite important. Alright, so I bring you to my own comment, and basically I'm just reiterating what I have said in the video so far itself. So yeah, just all of this. But mostly I want to very much bring your attention to this part here where I say I don't want to see the health of characters. It doesn't improve the experience or immerse me in any kind of roleplay. I don't want to know when exactly my character is about to die. You know, it's a crusade, I've heard it said, that I am on. It's an anti-information crusade, and it was said to me in a very not derogatory, but like it wasn't said as a positive thing, right? They're like, oh, you're harping on about this particular thing again, and you're all blah, and you're an anti-information crusader. Like they were trying to basically put me down for saying that we shouldn't be able to see the health of characters to the bloody decimal places. Like, I don't think I'm in the wrong. I think it's very normal for me to not want to know that my rival is going to die in exactly 3 months to the day. It's absolutely insane that you would know that information. So I have said this multiple times on the forums before, and somebody has called me an anti-information crusader for it, and I think they are very silly for doing so, because I have been vindicated right here, right now, today. I have been vindicated. I was quoted, I think it's in the next page. Somebody quoted me and said that he agrees with me. Where is that gone? Come on, where is it? There it is. Seleucus Nicator said that he just wants to second it. It would indeed be adding so much to the game's immersion if this the way that playing character's health is replaced with something of CK3 style, which is, that's what I said. Apparently that's extremely unrealistic and gamey to be able to predict each character's death with the day's precision. Basically just repeating exactly what I said. But Arheo decided to reply to him and not me. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because he's gone on a purge of odd to have info that isn't represented here. Health in the character screen, manpower and gold in the Diplo screen are currently gone, with more to come, probably. Yes! The anti-information crusade is a success. We have retaken the Holy Land, and I am very pleased because I have been vindicated. My anti-information crusade is a success, and everything is right with the world once again. We've done it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Yes. Haha. Vindication. And I can't remember who it was that kept calling me an anti-information crusader, but to you specifically, shove it, I win. Ha! Oh, I love it. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, no, there's absolutely no reason for me to see. Oh, I mean, we can go into here. We'll have a look around. Me being able to see, go to Seleucus and say, oh, he's got this many cohorts and he's got this much manpower and this much money. I shouldn't be able to see this information. Oh, how long has he got left to live? His health is at 100% and it's going down by this much. And I shouldn't know any of that information. I shouldn't be able to go to you and say, oh, he's got this much loyalty. Why do I know this information? Maybe instead of this, it should show something along the lines of he is susceptible to subterfuginess, right? Something like that. Or his loyalty is wavering. Rumors have come to your court that Mr. Achaicus Seleucid is not very happy. Something. Just something that isn't. He's at 42, and these are the reasons why. I don't need to know this information. I don't want to know this information. It's information that I shouldn't know. Especially as he's like my fucking rival's son. Like, why would I know that? Why? Being able to set one of your characters to being an agent of sorts, and having him go to their court with a claim of disloyalty of your own, so that he can find this information and send that information back to you. Sure, that I'll be totally for, but there's no current mechanism for that, so me knowing this information is completely bullshit, and I shouldn't. Yeah, I don't like that is the case. To the point where I had requested a mod made for me. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Starchitect made a mod for me. Yeah, it'll be in here, from followed authors, from friends stuff. Search for Starchitect. It's not strategic resources. It's it is in here. It's in this. I don't know if he made it separately as well. Community multiplayer mod pack. There we go. Hidden information mod pack. He made this. This was requested by me. I don't know if he's got me in here at all, but it doesn't matter. So that this is what you can see in the ledger. You can only see your own shit. And then if you want to look at somebody's Diplo screen, you can see how many pops they have, but you can't see the manpower or the money or the anything like that, because why would you? Why would you? There's no reason for me to know that. Health, feeling vigorous. He added the CK3 change before CK3 came out. You know, these kind of things are very much what I like to see, and you know, that's why I requested that this mod be made, you know? So I'm very, very happy. I'm very, very happy that you know, Arheo is in agreement here, and you know, the Anti-Information Crusade, the Hidden Information Crusaders, we are vindicated, and everything is again right with the world. As the Holy Land of hidden information has been, you know, back to the true. I don't know. The analogy falls to pieces at this point. Doesn't matter. We win. We win. You lose, Mr. Whatever your name was. Ha! Get wrecked. Is there any other dev responses? I don't even know. Let's have a look. If there isn't, then I guess it's end of the episode. But let's just have a quick sneak peek. There are some feedback for the information, and he's said it's useful, constructive feedback. Take a look over some of the issues mentioned. In general, this kind of actionable critique that is a pleasure to see from the community. There are many such instances in this thread, so thanks to all responsible. I hope I'm one of the ones responsible for that. Mine wasn't bad. I don't know. But yeah, we had you know, some critique has happened in this thread. I will leave a link to the thread in the description below, so you can go and check it out yourself. Maybe give your own critique, say what you like, what you don't like, what you think needs to be in it, what you think is bad, you know, all that kind of stuff. And also, you know, maybe write in the comment section below what you agree with me on. Do you think I'm crazy, that I'm far too zealous in my hidden information crusade? Or do you think that, you know, I'm right, and you're happy to see that, you know, hidden information is a valid path going forward, that you're glad the game's going to take? Let me know in the comment section below. I also have a Patreon page that you can support me on if you so desire. There is a link to that in the description as well. But until next time, thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this Dev Diary episode, and I will see you next time, next week, for hopefully some more good shit to come. I'll see you then.